Alrighty, so this is KMKanDrum, and I am joined by James Myers. James, how's it going, man?
Going pretty good. How you doing, buddy?
Really good, really good. So I'm looking at your channel right now. I see that you started in. It looks like it's like prime COVID time. Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah.
Is that what got you to get onto YouTube?
It was really more so just the timing was right, I guess. Because we started working remote, so I was able to like build my drum room. I had started back up playing drums again in 2018, but I didn't have an interface. I didn't have anything for recording or anything like that. So I started building in around 2018, and then in I posted a few clips on Instagram and Facebook, and my family saw it, and they were like, "Oh wow, this is awesome! You should keep doing this." So I was like, "Well, how can I do that?" And so I decided to I was like, "Well, I can just upload them to YouTube," and that the timing was perfect, I guess. Like I said, we had also went remote, so I could build the drum room out and stuff that I did too. So
That's cool, man. Yeah, you and I share the same industry. We're both graphic designers. So you're out of Detroit, you were saying, right?
yep, I'm about 30 minutes north of Detroit currently.
Awesome. How is work going for you?
Pretty good. Yeah, I you know, making it happen over there. I'm the only designer at our company, so I kind of lead everything. Anything that gets designed, it comes over my way. Unless it's like a LinkedIn post or something like that, they may just have someone else do one of those. But um, yeah, pretty much on me, and going good so far. I've been there 7 years now, so.
Cool. So graphic design, do you do any like freelance work or work on the side?
Yeah, so I actually used to freelance for about 15 years. That's kind of what got me into it. It was back in the day, '03, '02 maybe, somewhere around there. And our band needed graphics, and we were just in high school, so we didn't want to pay. We didn't have the money to pay a designer. We reached out to one. He was like $75 an hour for a T-shirt, and I was like, oh man, no, not gonna happen. So I just ended up. I was like, all right, I'll make our T-shirt, and I made it and sent it over, and then we were like, okay, we need a logo, and I was like, all right, I'll try to tackle that one too. I guess I never did it. And then next thing I knew, my singer made a website for us, and it was on GeoCities back in the day, and we I looked at it and I was like, okay, this is very like black metal, death metal website, and we were like kind of like metalcore slash hardcore kind of. Um, so I was like, let's see if I can do something with that one too. So I kind of took that one over, built that, and then of course playing shows. I had bands reaching out to me, hey, who did your logo and stuff like that, and I was like, I did, and snowball effect from there. Um, and 20 something years later, here I am doing that full time. But yeah, it's mostly been a lot of freelance. I got by for a lot of years doing freelance.
That's awesome, man. Great story. Okay, so as far as this format goes, I've tried to stick to this as much as possible with drummers in the past and whatnot that I've interviewed. Um, I open the show asking you a handful of drum questions, and then I move on to the next section, which is kind of like me interviewing you for a job. And then the last section is a few questions that maybe you might find at a speed dating event or something like that. All in good fun. So just try to have fun and answer as honestly and candidly as you can, and let's just try to have a good time.
Yeah, sounds good. Absolutely.
Alrighty,
I almost
so
didn't get my last job though, so hopefully this interview goes a little better. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know, man. I want to be tough on you. Alrighty, well, so how long have you been playing drums?
Playing drums, pretty much all my life. Since I'm probably 2 years old. I remember my first vision. My dad set me down on a drum set down in the basement, And I remember from there, like I just I I remember it still. It was a white drum set. Like I still remember that. 2 years old, I think it was. My mom says it was 5, but I think it was I think it was a little before that. But yeah, and ever then got like one of them little small play kits and played on that for until the heads broke, and then of course you can't replace those heads. So yeah, just kept playing from there. I got my first Pearl kit when I was in high school. I was in marching band, concert band, uh, and also in my own side bands. I took a break for about 10 years up until 2018. Basically, just not having a place to practice. Financially, couldn't afford drum gear. It's expensive. So, yeah, pretty for a long time.
Cool. So you did take a break for a while. How did you get, like, did you notice that your chops went down at all? And if they did, how did you get them back up?
Yeah, actually, yeah, quite a bit. I remember the basic fundamentals, and that was about it.
And how'd you get them back to where you are now? Because you're rocking right now.
Sorry, I had just gonna throw this one off a little. I have a cat.
Oh,
that likes to make a lot of noise. So I didn't want that to be in the
don't worry about it. Cats, babies. There's been all kinds of different things. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me.
Fair enough. But yeah, I just kept practicing. I noticed I had pretty much lost everything except for like the basic fundamentals. So obviously, I knew like a couple small like flam rudiments and stuff like that, and I also remembered how to play the basic 4 on the floor beat. Maybe not as smooth as I would have liked. I still knew like a couple like fills, kind of like Portnoy fills, I guess you might say. But not to that extreme precision. But I still remembered a few things, so I tried to utilize that. And I just kept practicing. And as a matter of fact, I to get into covers and stuff, I had never done anything like that with my youth on anywhere. Yeah, I was in bands all my life and making our own music, so I never did any covers. So coming into that, I looked at that as a way for me to practice and keep like, all right, let me learn this song and see what they did in this song. Let me learn this song, see what they did in this song, and I just kept doing that. And here we are. I've been I look at every song as okay. Well, this song I can probably, it may be like a simple 4 on the floor groove, but it's a simple song. But for me, it's helping me, work on, keeping it together, being solid, and not like flamming drum parts and stuff like that when it should be like solid hits and stuff like that. So any song it is, I look at it like that, like, okay, this is practice for this type of thing, or this is practice for this type of thing. And here we are.
Awesome. Cool, man. Well, another question that I like to ask, do you like to use wood or nylon tip sticks?
Wood.
Wood. Awesome. Have you ever tried using nylon at all?
Yeah, I have a pair of nylon that sit here on the counter and never get used. I'm just more of a wood guy. I do like nylon tips like on rides and stuff like that. But other than that, I prefer wood tip.
Awesome. Do you play any other instruments? Why the drums?
Like I said, back even when I was really little, I took to playing the drums. That was just, something where I could hit something hard and get away with it. When I was little. And then as I grew up, I took it a little bit more serious and stuff like that. Again, in marching band, concert band, playing drums. So it's just kind of, drums have kind of always been there for the most part. And then I've always like I'm always sitting there going like this, even at times when I didn't have drums and stuff like that. As far as any other instruments, I don't technically play any other instruments. Like um, I do have a Schecter Diamond Series guitar here. Um, I've been trying to pick up slowly, but it's like every time I play guitar, it's like, okay, I should be in there playing drums instead of playing guitar. So I feel bad, you know. Um, but I do have a left-handed guitar there, yeah, because I'm left-handed. So just been kind of messing around with that. You know, my channel intro on my channel, I actually use the guitar. I mean, it's just three chugs, but um, it's catchy, it's hooky. So that's all that matters. And yeah, so as far as like actually like knowing full riffs or anything, no. But I'm trying. But that's as drums is the main thing.
Awesome. So you're left-handed, but you play right-handed on the drum set?
Yeah, I play a right-handed kit, but I play it left-handed, so open-handed
Open.
instead of crossing over.
Does it did it take any time to, I guess, do you lead with your right hand or do you lead with your left hand?
Technically, I lead with my left hand. So there's always like that it just clicks in my brain nowadays, like really easy. As far as like transferring over that, like how do I play this like this kind of thing. I'm actually working on a song right now that I just started the other night for a collaboration, and it's actually leading with the right hand when I'm listening to it. And I'm like, oh man, how am I gonna make this happen? So I've been kind of working through that one, but I always find a way. So yeah.
That's cool, man. Those are the types of things that I don't even, it doesn't even occur to me because, just naturally right-handed. I feel like even in life, things just are like naturally fall in line for right-handed people, whereas left-handed people, they kind of have to like adapt and find different ways. So that's really cool to hear.
Yeah, yeah, mouses and all kinds
Oh
of
yeah.
stuff, right? Everything's always geared towards a right-handed person. But even when I was younger as a kid, you go hop on. I didn't have a kit, so you go hop on a kit, or even that little plastic kit that I had. It's geared for a right-handed, kid or player or anything. So I was just hopping on the kit. I didn't take lessons or anything like that. I just played how I played, and that happened to be open-handed, and because I was always on jumping on right-handed kits.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a really cool story. So you have you been in metal bands your whole life, or have you been in different genres?
Mostly metal type stuff. I would say. There was one that was like post-hardcore, but it had like chuggy breakdowns and stuff in it as well, which I guess post-hardcore does kind of have that, but um, maybe yeah, but post-hardcore, hardcore metal, um, a punk one. I did a little bit of punk, uh, but generally speaking, yeah, that's about it.
Okay. I have one question that I'm probably not going to know most of the drummers that you put into this question because I'm not like super into metal or anything, but
You
I
might
like
be
to ask,
surprised.
hopefully, I like to ask this question because it kind of gets your mind going and it's kind of a fun one. So if you were Dr. Frankenstein and you were able to build the best drummer in the world using maybe arms from one drummer, legs from another drummer, uh, the head of another drummer, and the heart of another drummer, what drummers would you put together to make this like Frankenstein monster drummer?
Does it have to be metal specific,
No, it could
or
be anyone. Yeah.
oh, that's an interesting question. Um, Boy, it's so hard because there's so many great drummers, and it's you exclude one, and you feel bad for excluding that one. Um, yeah, I would have to put like I would have to say like on the legs, maybe some sort of fast drummer, like a drummer from like Slaughter to Prevail or something like that. Which I don't know how to. It's I think his name's like Eugene something. But he's really quick on the feet, or any myriad of those other drummers that are like that are also quick on their feet, so that they can so that you could have incredibly fast feet, but also be able to, do like triplets and double stuff so that you could also, if you needed to switch over to, I'm sorry. Um, if you needed to switch over to, jazz or something like that, you'd still be able to pull it off because you still got a quick foot. As far as hands go, yeah, I don't know any. I know a lot of gospel drummers and stuff. They have like really quick chops, but I don't really like personally know a lot of gospel drummers. So maybe something like that. Um,
Okay.
I can't name any specifics. Even though it's sticking with the metal John. The Rev from Avenged Sevenfold, his hands were really fast. Definitely, you could go with that. But if I'm trying to be like go more out of the box, throw like Buddy Rich hands on there, with like really fast double bass feet. That would be really interesting to hear and see. So maybe that.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, that seems like a really monster drummer right there. Who's your favorite drummer on YouTube?
On YouTube, but that's difficult. You mean small or large? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Whichever name pops up into your head.
Well, obviously the first name because he's one of the largest is El Estepario Siberiano. He pops up right away. 6'6" Samus pops up in my head pretty quickly. Yeah, let's go with one of those two for now. But I it's not just like watching all these other incredible drummers, even if they're a small channel or whatever. It's really cool to see pretty much everyone play. It doesn't matter who you are, how many subscribers you have, or anything like that. To me, it's just, hey, you're playing drums, like that's cool. Like I applaud you. Like even if you think you're not the greatest or anything like that, it's like, hey man, you're still taking the time to like learn an instrument and you in it and you're interested in it and stuff. So that's awesome. Just keep going and yeah.
Yeah, that's the best part of music is you just there's so many different avenues where you could meet people. Like I've been in bands all my life as well, and everywhere that I've lived across the country, I've been able to meet people like right away just because of music, and then throw in the online thing with YouTube and whatnot, and social media, and you meet people all over the world. So it's awesome. Like it doesn't matter, like you said, what level of a drummer you are. Um, you just to be able to meet like all these different cool people that share the same interest is like one of the best things in the world about music and drums. Cool, man.
Absolutely.
Do you prefer to be on stage or in the studio?
um since I haven't played on stage in a really long time, um one of my favorite things that I ever experienced in my life was being on stage, playing the shows and stuff that I did back in the day. Man, I every day I sit there and almost break down and want to cry, and not because to say like, I can't do that now, but um, it was a special time and place in my life, and uh, even when I was in concert band in high school, it was like we played in the auditorium, being on stage. It was just an awesome feeling, even if you were in the back corner playing the big, huge bass drum where nobody could see you. Uh, it was still just fun.
Cool. All right. Well, if you could live any one drummer's life or have the portfolio of any one drummer, who would it be?
Again, I don't. There's so many good drummers out there. As far as playability and stuff, I think one of my favorite drummers has always been the Rev. But I wouldn't want to live that lifestyle. Obviously, he died at a young age.
Yeah.
Um, so rest in peace to Rev, but you know, probably not that route. I would love to have that playability under my belt. I mean, crazy drummer, but maybe ones that are still alive. I can't think of his name. Eloy Casagrande. He's awesome drummer right there. Uh, Same thing with like As I Lay Dying back in the day. Even though they're like being really hated on right now on the YouTube world because of the screamer and everything and all the stuff that he's been through. And he kind of, I think his name is Jordan Masciano, or I'm butchering that last name. But he is an awesome drummer. He's an incredible drummer as well. Their stuff is just pretty much, I can't play it. So, so that to me is incredible. I can't pick one, man. August Burns Red, that drummer does drum clinics and stuff like that. I forget his name, but he's an incredible drummer as well. There's too many to name. I'm sorry, I can't pick just one.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I mean, it's not a test, right? It's just to have fun, answer some questions, get to know you better. All right, well, let's move on to this next section where you're basically in an interview for a job.
Let me go get my suit on.
Yeah. I think probably in every single interview I've ever been in, they've always asked me, what are your strengths? So what are your strengths?
In life or on the drums?
Maybe both.
Okay. On the drums, as much as I would love to be the ultimate metal drummer, I would probably say more. My strength is probably more in rock and stuff like that. Just because I can't get past like 180 BPM, a double bass and stuff like that. But I could definitely hold a solid groove, and I often play with a group of people that do collaborations, and they're kind of like a full band. So there's guitarists and singers and stuff that we work with and everything. They throw me a song like every week, and I never know what it's going to be, but I do know that it's typically going to be sort of rock based, probably something like that, to an extent, whether that's like 70s rock or 80s rock, or something like that. But every time so far, I've been able to nail every single song that they've sent me, and I think I've done about like 15-20 of those songs up now. So I've been able to like nail every single one of those. There hasn't been anything that I haven't been able to play yet, as far as that goes. So I would lean towards like that's more of my strength as far as playing goes. As far as in life, I don't know, dude. I just exist. No, I'm just kidding. No. Definitely, definitely a creative person. That was, I guess, an all-around encompassing, because I do design, I play drums, I also do photography. I shoot my own videos, I edit my own videos. So definitely in that creative realm, that's probably one of my strengths. I'd go with that for now. Of course, there's always like the feeling trying to be a good person, of course, stuff like that. But I mean, we're all human, so I wouldn't say that's like I am absolutely the best at being, but I try. So yeah, let's go with that.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, as long as you try, it's really hard when other people don't try and you're trying, and sometimes it just doesn't happen, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, so then on the flip side, what are your weaknesses?
Don't give me any jazz. I can't really. Yeah, I did a couple of these backing track challenges for one of the people that I do the collabs with and stuff, and one of her backing track challenges was jazz, and I was like, this is the best I got for you for this one. It really wasn't too jazzy, but it was it was the best I had. So jazz or you know, even though I love listening to it, and it's probably like my favorite things to listen to is like fast metal, um, uh, As I Lay Dying, Slaughter to Prevail, you know, any of these myriad of drummers that can go over 180 BPM, because I can't get really over 180 BPM. That's like that's like probably my max right there. So probably playing like faster stuff like that as far as drumming goes.
Where do you see yourself? I guess more, well, yeah, maybe both in life and in drums. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
uh, I didn't expect to be where I'm at right now, so I guess I really don't have any idea. um, you know, I expect to just keep things going full steam with what I'm doing right now. If anything happens out of that, cool. You know, you never know where the world's going to take you, really. Everything changes from day to day. So, you know, just a few years ago, I was struggling to pay rent in a house. Couldn't afford anything. I was having the gas and electricity shut off at certain times and stuff. Like it was pretty bad. I was freelancing, and I was doing contracted work here and there. But yeah, it was pretty rough. And then a couple years goes by, and you know I'm where I'm at now, and it's like, well, I kind of never expected to be here in this spot, but you know, I just keep, you know, trying to push in that direction of, you know, having a decent job, keep staying afloat, that sort of thing. And I guess wherever the world takes me, I guess is what it is. I do want to be here. I'm in Michigan. Would love to move up north or something like that eventually, but work is down here, so I don't know how that's ever going to work out. But you know, hey, that would be great in 5 years, because I am looking to move currently, but never know.
So when you say move north, what do you mean by that?
Move north, up toward upper Michigan, because it's like well, Michigan's kind of like a thumb, the thumb state, the mitten state. So I don't know if the camera's right, but like all of Michigan, kind of like lower, is really congested. There's a lot of people down in Michigan. I mean, it's not like New York or anything like that by any means, but there is a lot of people down here and stuff like that. And Upper Michigan, it's really nice, very beautiful. Lots of woods, and of course, all of Michigan is surrounded by lakes at the top and well, all the way down. Trying to get a little piece of that. That's kind of where I'm shooting for. Yeah.
All right, so you like a little bit more space.
Yeah. I've been living down here all my life around Detroit, and I've experienced pretty much a little bit of everything, I guess you could say, without being too specific. Uh, as far as like people and neighbors and people in general. I just kind of want to get away from that a little bit more because I've been here all my life and I have had the opportunity to experience, you know, going up north and stuff and staying up there for extended periods of time. And it's like, oh man, this is so much nicer than, you know, being down there and dealing with all the stuff that goes on down here, from, you know, poverty, you know, homeless and you're going to the gas station being hassled by people, having your car broken into in your driveway. You know, I'm not going to go too specific, but yeah, lots of things like that. It's just like, all right, enough of this. You know, same thing with even where I'm at now. I'm allowed to play drums. I own this house, but the houses are very close together. So I don't know. I've been here since 2018, and I've probably had the cops at my house probably at least five times. from the neighbors calling the cops on me. It's like, all right, I'm sick of this too. Get a little space so they don't have to hear me and stuff like that. Yeah, that's kind of the goal here.
I had, I guess, kind of a similar path where I grew up in Los Angeles, very congested. Houses are close to each other. I'd have the cops called on me all the time too. And then we moved to Houston. And even though there are areas in Houston where it's really spread out, not when you are poor. When you're poor, you got to live in the apartments and all of that stuff, and it's pretty congested there. And then I moved to New York. There's no space there, so I had a little bit of a hiatus. Didn't play as much as I normally would. And then moving down to Philly, same thing. Philly is like very compact, and it wasn't until maybe we moved to the suburbs where we have a lot more space. You just, life in general, not just drums, you just feel like you can breathe more. You definitely feel safer. There's some things that, you kind of miss, like food isn't as good in the suburbs, but the gains are a lot better than the losses. So I hope you get there, man. I hope like in that 5 years, I hope you're where you're at, where you want to be, because nothing is like being in the spot where you want to be. Like, that's where I am right now. I don't want to go anywhere. I think where I'm at now is where I want to be for at least a long time. And looking back at all the places that I've been before to where I am now in this spot in my life, like not just where, but time-wise, age-wise, all of that stuff. I feel like I don't want time to keep going. I want it to stop right here. And I want that for all the people that I've ever met in my whole life. And I hope that you get there too, because it's just a great place to be, where it is you want to be.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and congrats to you. That's awesome. Being in that situation. I'm sure you're a lot happier with your quality of life and stuff like that in that sort of situation. That's where I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, so like I've been in a very similar situations before, like poor, getting the power turned off, getting the car repoed, all of that stuff. So from one person that's been through it to another who's going through it and trying to get to, somewhere similar to where I am, it can happen. So as long as you stay positive and all of that stuff, and work hard for it, you'll get there, man.
Absolutely. No, I agree 100%. I'm a logical thinker, so I'm not like, oh no, it's never gonna happen for me. No, if I work hard and if I do what I got to do, I can make it happen, and I'm trying. I don't know if I can swear. Trying my damnedest to make it happen. So, it's becoming a reality. Like I said, things are falling in place now, so should be within a few years. Yeah.
Awesome, man. That's very cool. Do you have any mentors or people that have helped you along the way? It's okay to say no, that you've done it all yourself, man. Give yourself some credit too.
All right. Well, pat on the back for me then.
Nice.
I really don't have any mentors or anything like that. I'll reach out to my mom. I talk with my mom every day. Parents are parents. You can't always take the advice that they give you. It's not always the best advice. So, she always tries to spill the words of wisdom onto me and stuff like that. But, sometimes it's like, well, is that really the best course of action? Think about that really good before you actually execute it. To anything, oh, you're not happy with their job, son. Well, you should quit it. It's like, well, if I quit it, I'm not going to have, the things I have from it, but how can I actually, instead of just quitting it, how can I make it better? So, that kind of like stuff, you just logically, process the things that, parents say, and then, it's like, yeah, well, if I did that, that kind of stuff. So not really like mentorship. She'll give me advice here and there, but obviously that's up to me to decide to take it. That's the only person that I really talk to as far as any of that goes.
What's your dream job?
Playing on stage, man.
Nice.
Playing drums on stage, yeah. When I was younger, that was all I wanted to do was just play on stage, make it famous in a band. That was the whole dream. And then, band breaks up. I'm designing. I have a knack for it. That takes off. Bands sort of flatline. Can't find anyone that's dedicated or willing. At the time of my life when I was doing that, my friends are growing up. They're having kids now. They have lives. I couldn't find anyone that actually wanted to take it serious. To the course of design I went. It's still a creative job. It's still creating things, so that's kind of cool. I look at it like that. It has that, for me personally, it has that tie back to playing drums in a band and creating, designing things for the band, designing for music in general and stuff like that. So it still has that like creative element to it for me. But ultimately, nothing has ever beat playing on stage for me.
Yeah, man, it's so, like, I'm the same thing, like designing and whatnot. It's great to have that creative outlet, but drums is kind of like you get the best of both worlds. You get the artistic world and you get the sport world too, because the best thing to me about sports is when you're playing to a crowd, you're in the stands, and like whether it's baseball, you hit a home run and you hear the crowd go crazy. When you're on stage, it's kind of the same thing. You don't have the same sort of climax of a home run or a goal or a three-pointer or whatever, or a touchdown, but you still get that feeling from the crowd when you're playing your music and people are applauding you.
Yes. When the whole crowd is like, "Oh my God, this is so awesome." Everyone's, rocking out to the song. And when you know that you just, played your butt off and you just played awesome, and it's like, dude, we rocked that so hard. Like, there's no better feeling than that. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't get that applause when you design a really nice design.
No, I think you could tweak this a little bit and make this a little better.
Yeah. Yeah, I got you there, man. It's there really is nothing like it. Are you still looking to get into a band, or is that like?
Yeah. So, when I started playing again, it was, for me, it was like, I'm not good enough to be in a band at this point in time. At least I felt so. I probably could have joined some band. And I'm probably underestimating myself. But I sort of looked at it like that. Like, I'm not really like, dude, these guys are jamming on guitars to be in a band these days. Like, dude, these guys are playing some crazy stuff that like I can't play right now. So there's always that little bit of doubt as far as like getting back into a band, and then also timing, uh, with everything else. I'm doing the YouTube stuff. I'm uploading a video every week, and designing at work. So that's pretty much a lot of my life right now is just going to work, coming home, playing drums, and that's about it. And then, of course, all the other things that are going on in my life too. Like I said, looking for a house and stuff like that, and everything else. Those are all that's kind of taken precedence over, trying to find an actual band. And again, also there's still that little bit of lingering doubt. Am I good enough to do this again? I would love to. I also have a hard time with it because every band I've ever been in has made original music, and I've been doing covers for a while now. So it's kind of a switch up. I would have to go back to writing original music, and then again, that's where even more doubt comes into my mind. Like, can I actually write music again like I used to? I don't know, but I mean, a lot of times you join a band and they have, things figured out depending on the band that you join and stuff like that. But yeah, for me, it's kind of like that. It's like, do I want to join a cover band? Probably not. But it wouldn't be bad to like get your feet wet and try some things out again. But then, it's like, what can I actually like really remember those songs, playing them on stage and stuff? Um, because like when I record now, it's like I put little like voice cues in the tracks I'm working on. So so I'll put like, Phil coming up here, or flam Phil here, or whatever it may be, and then I'll count it in, so I know that, you're playing like a fast song and you forget that, oh, it's about to change up right there. Well, let me count that in for myself, kind of thing like that. So it's like, could I actually remove those voice cues and play, do that again live? I probably could if I took the time. I'm only spending like a week on a song, so it's just however I can learn it the quickest. So if I spent more time on it, I probably could, and I'm probably doubting myself, but that's where I'm at with it right now. Kind of, it's like, yeah, excuse me, yeah, I would like to, but I don't know if I can, but I think I probably could, but I don't know.
Well, man, we only live once, so if the opportunity comes, you just got to take it, right?
YOLO, man. Yeah, that's true.
Well, let's take it to this next or this last section where we can have a little bit of fun. Just I call it speed dating questions, but it's really just questions that are like general, just get to know you questions. First of all, are you a meat eater or a vegetarian?
I eat meat.
Are you a hardcore meat eater, or you just kind of like eat everything?
Yeah, I'll eat anything. I'm not going to go out of my way to order a salad specifically for me to eat, because, I mean, kind of buying salads in a sense of like at a restaurant or something is kind of usually like a waste of money, just because it's salad is water, pretty much. So, sure, you can throw a ranch and stuff on there as well, but I'll eat anything pretty much. I just, if I go get some food, I'm gonna get, if I go to a steakhouse, I'm gonna get maybe broccoli with baked potato and a steak.
I tell my wife whenever she makes salad or soup for dinner, I'm always asking where the entree is, where the main course is, because that's not dinner. Soup is not dinner. Salad's not dinner.
Right.
All right. Well, are you if you drink, are you a beer or a wine guy or a hard liquor guy?
I'm actually not much of a drinker. I can go years without. Went years without drinking anything. I usually don't drink anything. But over this last summer, I went camping up north, and my whole family, like, they busted out the Don, or the I don't even know how to say it right because I don't drink. I'm not a drinker. Blanco, something Blanco, Juan Blanco, Don Blanco, tequila,
Oh,
and
okay.
I was like, oh man, this is actually really smooth, because that's a big reason why I don't like any drinks. If I do get something to drink, it's usually a fruity type of drink, with some like cranberry in it or something like that. Um, because I'm just not really a drinker. Hops, I don't like the aftertaste of like the hops in my mouth a lot of times. So I really don't drink beer. Um, I don't mind champagne or wine. That's fine, because it's got a little bit more of the grape flavor, a little bit more fruity flavor, I guess, to it. Uh, and then like vodka is a oof for me. So I try to like not do any of that, but like I said, rarely do I drink. But um, Yeah, I did bring that bottle of Blanco home and put it in my freezer, and I do take a couple of sips here and there, but I yeah, that's about it. But that tequila is really good.
Is that the Don Julio? I think it is.
Yeah, Don Julio.
Yeah, it's one of the. I think it's one of the higher shelf ones. I don't drink anymore. When I used to, yeah, I would dabble in a little bit of everything. But now, yeah, I don't touch the stuff. It's probably been like maybe 5 or 6 years since I've drank anything. And I usually, I think it's really cool when I find people that don't drink, because in not just America, just all over the world,
Hmm.
it seems like it's a huge thing to be a casual drinker. And I don't know. To me, it's not that I'm turned off by people who drink. It's just I have more respect for people who don't drink, that can still have a good time and can still function socially and be a normal person and not be inebriated in any sort of way. So yeah, but I just
And
love.
that's awesome that you've went 5 years with it. Yeah, congrats to you. And it was the same way before I went camping. It was probably about, I think it was 2 years. We went down to New Orleans for a work trip because they were doing a code thing there. And obviously in New Orleans, it's still illegal to like smoke marijuana or anything like that. Um, I wasn't smoking. I don't smoke cigarettes or anything. So I didn't like have any sort of like thing that I could do while I was down there, and everybody's drinking, and like everyone from work was like totally acceptable on it. So I had a couple drinks there. But before that, yeah, it'd been like 5 years. Same, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I like asking that question because I like to know, um, not just whether you drink beer or wine, or just whether you drink it all, and what your stance on it. Because I just find it interesting. Um, Next
You are
question.
correct. You are correct. There's a lot of people in the world that drink, and I'm like, holy moly, yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
And people, it's like a social thing. Like, um, you know, uh, I'm a single guy, so like I'm on some of the dating apps and stuff like that, and it'd be like, where do you want to go on a date? And it's like, would you want to go to a bar? And I'm like, I mean, we can if you want to. I'm not really a big drinker. Oh, unmatched and moved on.
Really?
And it's like, because I don't drink. Like, come on now.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh. That's interesting. Huh. Well, yeah. That's why it's on the why it's on the speed dating questions. um, I think I know the answer to this one, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Dogs or cats?
I don't mind either one personally, and I used to have both. But I somehow ended up with two cats from my previous relationship, and so I do have two cats. Um, one of which who she has feline cat AIDS, and they're only supposed to live about 4 years. And she's pushing like 18. So she when that's why I keep muting my microphone because it's like, what are you torturing that cat back there? Because she sounds like she sounds like she's dying, but she's really not. She's complete, like she's got food, she's got water, she got clean litter. I take care of her and everything. Um, but I do have two cats as of right now. If it was my choice at this point in my life, I would probably go and say no animals for me, just because I'm going to work, I'm doing all the things I'm doing, and I probably could give them a little bit more attention than I do. But they're safe. They have a home. I'm not going to rehome them or anything like that. It's just that I do wish I could be here a little bit more often to interact with them and stuff. And then I do have one cat that is not declawed, and that's pretty. I got a leather chair right here, and it's real leather. And then here comes the cat, and it's like, no, please.
Yeah, I had cats for a while, and you think, oh, they're cats. They sleep 20 hours a day. They're low maintenance, but they are low maintenance for the most part. But the high maintenance parts are really high maintenance.
Yeah, it really is. I can go on a trip for like 2 weeks and just leave them food and water and like put, like 3 boxes or 4 boxes out for them. And usually they'll be okay for that like 3 weeks, that I'm gone. But when it is high maintenance and you come home and, cats are cats, they do puke sometimes, you gotta, all over the entertainment center, it's like, oh man, what a mess I gotta clean up now. Or yeah, so they can be a lot to handle, but yeah, you can, a dog, you can't leave them for 3 weeks and then be okay. So yeah.
Do you like coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Nice. How do you like your coffee?
I usually put cream and sugar in it. Usually on the lighter side, a little bit.
Cool.
Lots of sugar.
Yeah. What's your favorite food?
Food. Oh man, I love food. That's really tough. I love all food. For the most part. Unless like it's a chocolate covered scorpion or something like that. I don't know if I would go there. But anyway, generally speaking, burgers, spaghetti, steaks, all that stuff is like, oh man, I love it. Ribs. I'd probably throw out burgers, ribs, and probably like spaghetti. I can't just choose one with that, man. That's really tough. But I would go with those three as the top.
What's a good go-to restaurant over in Detroit?
I mean, it really depends on what you're in the mood for. There's a lot of local places that are pretty good. Again, depending on what you want to eat. Of course, we have all the noodles and companies and all those things as well, which is usually what I'm kind of gearing myself to, or a sub, a sandwich. There's a lot of good local sub shops and stuff around here. That's another food that I love. Man, I can I can keep going on that. So if you like subs, there's a lot of good sub shops. There's a lot of good Mexican restaurants as well. There's quite a bit. I mean, again, there's a lot of stuff down here. So there's plenty of places that are like pretty good place. So just depends on what your flavor is.
So have you traveled at all?
I've traveled to Florida and back several times. Both driven and flown. I've landed in Chicago Airport a few times by flying from Florida and back. So I mean, I didn't really go exploring or anything, but just layover flights or whatever those are called to the next one. That's pretty much the extent of my travels. I'm more of like it's like New York's cool and all, but I'm the type of person that just likes to chill. So I gotta pack bags. I gotta go on an airplane. For what? A few buildings that may look a little bit different than the way that they're designed here. Like, I mean, sure, maybe mountaintops. I can understand that. Like going to Upper Michigan is like a whole different world. They have like the Sleeping Bear dunes and stuff like that, which are like they look like cliff sides off of Lake Michigan and stuff like that. So it's like I said, it's super beautiful up there and stuff like that. So it's like I can go up there and get my exotic taste of flavor, even though it's winter. There's also winter time to deal with, so it's not always hot. But and then like I said, I've been down to Florida. Daytona, all the way down to all the way over to Orlando. I've been on the Gulf side as well. I think the Gulf side is a little bit nicer than the Atlantic side. So I've kind of had those experiences, and I kind of relate those to like, okay, so if I went to some exotic island, Fiji or something, you're gonna see a beach and you're gonna see water, so I'd just rather chill and like not have to deal with all the passports and yeah, just nah, dude, I'm good.
Man, I wish I had that mentality. Life would be so much easier for my family and I, but yeah, we're travelers. We've got the passports. We try to go on as many trips as possible. And I always advocate for travel, but I do see the other side of it and just being happy where you are. And yeah, just not having to deal with a lot of because travel, there is a lot of headaches that come with travel. Going to the airport. I mean, usually it's a whole day of travel. Even if you get to your spot, hotels usually don't let you even check in till about 4 o'clock. So you pretty much travel for 2 days out of your trip, however long your trip is. You travel in is one day and you travel out is another day. So you've got to figure, like if you're off for a week, you really only have 5 days to explore, and then the other 2 days are traveling. So I get you, man. I wish I could be in that headspace.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I think Japan is really cool. I like that the old buildings and stuff like that. And kind of the architecture and stuff that they have there. So I mean, if it was like, I have a ticket for you, and I've already bought your got your passport and everything for you, and all you gotta do is get on the plane. All right, I'll may consider that. But also like Alaska, I think I've always kind of been like fascinated with because it's so like remote. And there's not, there's just not. It's all snow and it's like a totally different lifestyle of living, and I think that's pretty cool. That would be cool to kind of explore that. Even like remote villages in the world. I mean, I think that's really cool, and I think there's like a lot to offer with those. I mean, from a learning experience standpoint, learning about those, I think they have a lot to offer. But yeah, I'm chilling.
Nice. Do you like Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Nice.
100%. Unless if the restaurant doesn't have a Coke products, I usually get a Mountain Dew. I try not to drink pop every day. Usually it's coffee and water, but sometimes I'll throw in pop. Just washes down food a little bit better sometimes. So I'll throw that in here and there. But if when I was younger, I used to drink like a 12-pack a day when I was really young. So it was definitely Coke though. Yeah. I did the Pepsi challenge, and they were like, "Which one's better for you?" And I'm like, "That one." And I knew 100% that it was Coke.
Nice. Yeah, man, it's hard to kick that soda habit. Because I've been a smoker, I've been a drinker, and I've been able to kick both of those. But soda, man, it has that hook in you.
It washes down food so much better. That's the main reason for it for me. Like otherwise, like I don't. It has a good flavor. Yes, it's different. It's not water. And it washes things down easier, and that's the main reason why I drink it these days. If there was something else that was, there's carbonated sparkling waters and stuff like that I have been drinking quite a bit. That kind of, they're carbonated and stuff like that, so they kind of got like a little bit of that effect to them. So I'll do those too once in a while. But if I'm ordering out, typically they won't have something like that. So yeah, it's probably Coke.
All right. Last question. Where did it go? Actually, I got a couple of. What's your favorite animated character?
Animated character. Well, I don't watch a lot of TV. Yeah, I don't really watch a lot of TV.
That's good.
Obviously, as a kid, I've seen like Hey Arnold, SpongeBob, those types of animated characters. I don't know if that's what you're referring to. I never really got into like anime or anything like that. Woody from Toy Story. He's really cool, man. No, yeah, I don't have much for you on that one.
All right. Well then, how about books? You have a favorite book?
I don't really read books, and I haven't read a book in a very long time. But I do remember one book from high school, which has a movie associated with it. Um, it was called Hatchet by Gary Paulson. It was about like a boy that goes on a plane ride to see his dad. They live in the United States. His dad's way up in the Canadian wilderness, way up there, and he's on like an oil field doing work for that. And the boy catches a plane ride with a smaller two-seater pilot, and the pilot ends up having like a heart attack or something like that, and the plane. He ended up the kid ends up having to like fly himself, and he doesn't know anything about the plane, and um, by some miracle he ends up landing in a lake and he survives, but he's out in the Canadian wilderness, like in the middle of nowhere, so he had to like survive, uh, and all he had on him before he left the trip, his mother gave him a hatchet. So that's all he had was the hatchet to survive. So making fires, eating, fishing, making fishing, uh, all that stuff he had to do with just that hatchet, making a shelter and everything. So it was like survival, and so yeah, that one was pretty cool. I just recently found it on YouTube. The movie is actually on YouTube, and I was like, wow, no kidding. Like I didn't think anybody remembered this movie. Like I didn't think I was gonna find it, but yeah, pretty cool.
Awesome. And then the last question is, how would your best friend describe you?
I don't know because I don't really have any best friends. That's a good question. A very good question. I'd maybe say, since I don't really know what they'd say because I don't really have any best friends, I would maybe say, I don't have to describe myself and probably say, more of a straight shooter, definitely like to have fun. But, I definitely stick to the stuff I got to do for myself. Making sure I get in there, play my drums, making sure I go to work, do the things I got to do. Uh, Definitely sort of more of a straight shooter. Um, but, I don't mind getting a little loose sometimes, whatever that may entail. I guess.
All right. Do you have any other than drums? Do you have any hobbies like going out on an ATV or anything like that? Any
um,
sports?
Anymore, I don't really have time for it. But I used to be big into skateboarding. I got a lot of skateboards behind me and stuff, and I used to skateboard all the time. I used to do like I've been able to do like 13 sets and stuff like that. Um, I could ollie them, but I'm probably not gonna be like 360 flipping him or like kick flipping him or anything like that. Well, probably not anymore. It's been a long time, but that used to be a big part of my life. Every day after school, um, me and a couple of kids, from a neighborhood would just go to like down the street, industrial. There's some big industrial building that's abandoned. All right, well, let's skate here, man. Like, just new places every day, as far as that went. And going down to Detroit, there was a lot of places to skate down there. Yeah, I used to do that quite a bit. Now I could probably 50-50 a rail, not a handrail, a ledge or something like that now. Um, Give me a few tries, I might still be able to get a kickflip in there. But yeah, that was what I used to do. That's actually why I have the decks that I do, because I like to now. It's like, okay, skateboarding was a big part of my life. Music's a big part of my life. So I like to like mix those a little bit. So that's where I have like that's a Megadeth deck right there. Um, so I kind of like do like music related decks to an extent. I also like in my drum room, and if you've ever seen any of my videos, I have a Zildjian deck in there. from Zildjian. They don't sell them anymore. So these things are, you could probably sell it for money if you wanted to, but I bought it because I wanted it for me. So I kind of like mixing that little bit of like music and skateboarding together. I also have Beetlejuice skate decks as well and stuff like that. So Avenged Sevenfold, Ozzy, Metallica, Megadeth. Those are the decks that I have right now as far as like music and stuff. And I'd like to put them all in the drum room, but they won't all fit in there because it's a little. I'm playing in like a 6-foot around box, like I can touch side to side. So it's really tight in there. So I don't really have the room to put it all in there, but I would love to. Maybe event it. Again, when I move, I'll be able to do that. But yeah, that's kind of what I do. What I used to do a lot, skateboarding. That was sort of my thing. Outside of drumming. As far as like nowadays, dude, I go to work, come home, play drums. That's all I got time for right now. And building up like the YouTube and stuff like that, and trying to like do that stuff. That's pretty much what my day consists of. I really, by the time I get home, I'm just like, oh, I'm tired. Then you play drums for a little bit, and you're like, okay, I'm passing out right here in this chair.
Yeah, man. Well, that's awesome. This has been really cool getting to know you and everything. As far as the channel goes, what do you have going on in the next few weeks or a month or so?
Yeah, I have a lot of collabs I'm working on right now. I just finished one of the most difficult songs that I've personally done on my channel. I think I've only done one other one that was like sort of on that level, but a different level. I did Pantera Revolution is my name like a few years ago, and that was really difficult song, but it has a lot of double bass to it. This one was an older song, so it was like there's a lot of changing parts going on, and a lot of drum fills, a lot of every part was different too. So it was a very difficult song to learn. I'm gonna be pretty proud of that one when I actually put out the drum version.
What are you doing to that cat, man?
I'm sorry. I would say edit it out, but I know you want this to be seamless. So, yeah. Basically that. Just collaborating with people, trying to collaborate as much as possible, and that's the gist of it right now. Just playing drums, collaborating, having fun. Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much for doing this today. I hope you had fun. I had fun, and for
Absolutely.
those of you who are out there that aren't subscribed to James, please check his channel out. He's got some really cool stuff on there. And yeah, man, let's keep in touch.
Yeah, definitely. That would be awesome. And yeah, I had a great time. Thank you for having me on. This was great. Good experience. And yeah, nice to get to chat with you, man. Appreciate
Cool, man.
it.
Awesome. Same here. And also, I just want to ask you one more thing. Do you do other stuff on your channel besides covers? Do you do like interviews too, maybe, or lessons or gear reviews or anything like that?
So I've done like practice videos when I first started, when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So I have those on there. I've done a few unboxing videos that I've actually done kind of well. There's a couple of them that are up to like 12K and stuff like that. So those were like kind of decent. I haven't done any of those in a while. More so because I want to up the production of anything that I do. I have ideas. With YouTube, a lot of the copyright monetization stuff like that, you can't. You got to have a lot of videos that aren't copyright claimed and stuff like that. So I'm at the point now with my channel where I can monetize, but I can't because I have so many copyrighted covers and stuff like that. So like I have ideas of things I want to do, such as like, I've gotten a lot of compliments on, man, your drums sound awesome. How do you get that sound? So I'm like, well, hey, I can show. Maybe I can do a video where I show you how I mix an FL Studio for my drums. Or I built a drum room I have all the footage from building that. Let me show you my drum room build, stuff like that. So I have other ideas and stuff for videos. I haven't really wanted to get like into reactions and stuff like that because I have a hard time just like making faces on camera, like, oh, that's so rad. It's like, is that me? I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I understand it gets a lot of views and stuff, but yeah. So I'm in that battle right now of trying to, like, I got a few ideas, but what other ideas can I bring to the table as well?
Cool, man. Well, I'm all for it. Even if you just stick to the covers, I think your channel's awesome. But it would be really cool to see some other stuff on there. I always love going on channels like Jim. I can't remember his name, but he does like a lot of things where he's fixing drums or he's building stuff. Same thing with ArtOfDrummer. A lot of those guys that have like really good hands and able to like do things with their drums. I love that kind of stuff. So yeah, man, I'll be totally into checking out the evolution of your channel. That's another great thing about YouTube is watching someone's journey from the beginning to end. But yeah, man, thank you so much for doing this, man. I really appreciate it and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. Thank you, man.
Awesome. Take care.
You too.
Hey guys, it's 2025 and this is my 8th year doing KMKanDrum. I can't believe it. I'm so glad you've come along the journey with me. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button and hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I put out a new cover or an interview with another musician or a drum lesson or a gear review or any of the other cool videos that I try to put out at least once a week. Also, keep in mind, we're gonna have these challenges that Rich Raw Dog Drums and I do. Punk Week, Metal March, we're gonna be doing an 80s one, maybe a classic rock one. Who knows what we're gonna do as the year unfolds. So please stay tuned, come back for more. Have a great 2025, and thank you again for watching KMKanDrum. Peace.